Delete the messages. Burn the memories. Let the silence teach you. Let it hurt. Let it empty you. Because emptiness is where truth grows. And when you finally meet someone who's free, who loves without hiding, who stays without fear, you'll understand that what you thought was love before was only hunger. Hunger disguised as meaning. There's a man somewhere, sitting in the quiet glow of his phone, telling himself that what he feels is rare. He's convinced the woman he's tangled with is different, that their story isn't like all the others. She's married, yes, but in his mind, that detail feels like an obstacle fate placed in their path, not a warning sign. He believes she's trapped in some grey world of duty and dullness, waiting for him, her spark, her real love, the man she should have met first. But what he calls love is not love. It's a storm inside his nervous system, a chemical illusion his mind has mistaken for destiny. Each hidden text, each whisper shared in a car parked too long under a streetlight, releases tiny doses of something that feels like euphoria. The brain rewards secrecy like it rewards danger, with dopamine, with obsession, with the delusion that this is passion. He's not in a romance, he's in a laboratory experiment, one that his emotions volunteered for without consent. He doesn't see that every secret meeting rewires his moral compass. Each stolen hour blurs the edges between right and wrong, between honesty and hunger. What he feels is not love, it's captivity that masquerades as connection. The human mind is clever that way. It can turn pain into poetry and betrayal into meaning. The woman he worships has her own script. She's the misunderstood wife, the lonely soul craving understanding. She plays the role so well she starts believing her own performance. In her story, her husband is the villain who doesn't listen, who doesn't see her anymore. And the man watching this right now, he's the hero, the one who restores her color. But none of it is real. It's theater performed in dim rooms, written by fear, directed by guilt, acted out under the illusion of fate. If he looked closer, he'd see the pattern. It's ancient, almost mathematical. Millions before him have walked the same path, each one swearing their story was unique. It always begins the same, with sympathy, then curiosity, then connection, then transgression. And it always ends the same, with silence, confusion, and the slow disintegration of self-respect. The woman says things that feel sacred. He doesn't touch me anymore. We're more like roommates. You make me feel alive. Each sentence is a hook, but the truth beneath them is simpler. She craves what her reflection no longer gives her. You are not her miracle. You are her mirror. You show her that she still has power, still has beauty, still can make a man lose control. You are not the love of her life. You are the proof she hasn't aged into invisibility. And when that proof feels complete, she will drift. It won't be sudden. It'll come through subtle shifts. Less urgency in her eyes, more explanations about why she can't meet, why she needs space, why things have become too complicated. What she really means is that you've served your purpose. You've given her back the sense of worth she'd been starving for. Now, you are just a reminder of the chaos she needs to clean up. There are other versions of her, too, not all seeking validation, but something even more intoxicating. Drama. These are women who live on emotional adrenaline. They don't need peace. Peace feels like emptiness. They need the chaos of almost being caught, the high of forbidden danger, the aching sweetness of temporary reunions. They thrive on the storm itself. With them, there's always a crisis. She's leaving him next week. Then she can't because the kids are fragile. Then she loves you more than ever. Then she vanishes for days. Each twist is another spark keeping the fire alive. And while you're unraveling, begging, breaking, she's breathing deeply, alive in the tension she's created. You're the pawn in her endless theater of emotional survival. She won't choose you because choosing ends the play, and she doesn't want peace. Peace would mean silence, and silence would mean facing herself. Sometimes she does leave. You win the waiting game. She chooses you, moves in, maybe even starts planning a future. For a brief moment, you feel triumphant, like love conquered all. But then something eerie happens. The electricity fades. The thrill that used to set your veins on fire turns lukewarm. The woman who once looked like freedom now looks like routine. The passion that fed on secrecy withers under the light of normalcy. And then you realize she didn't want love. She wanted escape. And now that she's escaped, she's restless again. You'll watch her eyes change. You'll hear her voice grow distant. You'll feel the slow death of the fantasy as she begins to rewrite the story again. Only this time, you're the husband she's grown weary of. The pattern restarts. Somewhere another man begins to play the part you once played, thinking he's the exception. The fourth story is quieter, but crueler. She never leaves, never commits, never truly chooses. She feeds you just enough affection to keep your hope alive. A text here, a secret afternoon there, a promise whispered between guilt and desire. She sprinkles just enough warmth to keep you starving for more. Your entire world starts revolving around crumbs. You start living between messages, between brief touches, between maybes. Years can disappear this way. Years spent waiting for a future that will never arrive. You start telling yourself that she just needs time, that love like this can't be rushed. But she knows exactly what she's doing. She's keeping you close enough to reach but far enough to control. You've become her emotional anchor, her confidant, her adrenaline supply. You think you're her lover. You're not. You're her secret life support system, the man she plugs into when her reality feels dull. And underneath all of this is a brutal psychological truth. You're not addicted to her. You're addicted to the rhythm she's created. You've been trained by unpredictability, conditioned by scarcity. When she texts, your heart races. When she disappears, your mind panics. This is not romance. This is behavioral conditioning. It's the same pattern casinos use to keep gamblers hooked. Random rewards, unpredictable returns. Your brain is gambling for love, and it always loses. Every forbidden moment feels sacred because it's rare. Scarcity tricks your mind into confusing intensity for depth. If she were truly yours, the illusion would break. The everyday moments, the errands, the mornings, the silence would expose how ordinary she really is, and she knows it. Somewhere deep inside, she understands that the moment she becomes fully available, the magic dies. So she remains half hidden, half honest, half yours. That's how she stays desirable, by staying distant. And the lies, oh, the lies are endless. She says she never touches him, that their marriage is only formality. But behind those locked doors, the truth is often uglier. The same woman who tells you she's yours is probably still whispering, "I love you" to him over dinner, still sharing the same bed on weekends, still maintaining the illusion of family for the world to see. You think you've stolen her heart, but you've only borrowed her attention. And if her husband suspects, he may not even fight. Some men prefer silence to confrontation. Some quietly welcome the distraction. You think you're part of a forbidden love story. In reality, you might just be an unpaid therapist for two people too afraid to fix what's broken between them. Meanwhile, she plays her roles with mastery. Wife, lover, mother, victim, heroine. Each one perfectly tailored for the audience in front of her. You see her vulnerability and think it's authenticity. It's not. It's performance, survival dressed as emotion. She's not one woman. She's many. And none of them are entirely real. For you, though, the consequences are devastating. You start lying easily. You start rationalizing betrayal. You learn to smile while deceiving, to act whole while living split. Slowly, your reflection becomes unfamiliar. You think you're chasing love, but you're losing yourself piece by piece. And when it ends, and it always ends, the silence that follows feels like collapse. The withdrawal isn't from her, but from the fantasy you built around her. You wake up one day and see your life as rubble. The nights spent waiting, the morals you bent, the people you hurt. All for a story that was never real. You'll stare at yourself and realize you became the villain in someone else's life. And that realization doesn't fade. It stays. It haunts. You'll try to move on, but she'll linger in your bloodstream like an echo that refuses to fade. You'll find her shadow in songs, in smells, in moments that should mean nothing. The addiction doesn't end when she leaves. It just changes form. You'll keep replaying scenes in your head, rewriting conversations, imagining what you should have said, what she might be doing now. You'll crave her message the way a starving man craves air. But deep down, you'll know it's not her you're missing. It's the feeling of being wanted, of being chosen, even if only in secret. The truth is, she didn't ruin your life. You did. Because you knew what it was from the start. You knew it was wrong, that it would end in wreckage, that you were building castles on quicksand. But you wanted the illusion more than the truth. You mistook intensity for meaning, scarcity for value. You called your obsession love because love sounds noble and obsession sounds sick. And while you suffer in silence, she'll recover quickly. She'll smile again, reattach herself to her husband's world, laugh with friends, post photos that look like nothing ever happened. She'll find someone new to confide in when the restlessness returns. You'll see her moving on and think she was heartless, but it's not that. It's that she never risked anything. You were the one who gambled your peace for her chaos. She simply played her part and walked away when the curtain fell. You, though, you'll live with the aftermath. You'll question everything. Not just women, but love itself. You'll start seeing lies where there may be none. You'll keep people at arm's length because intimacy now feels dangerous. You'll begin to believe that everyone has a secret, that every smile hides an agenda. You'll think you're protecting yourself, but really, you're just building walls high enough to keep love out. What happened wasn't romance. It was a slow psychological poisoning. And the antidote isn't revenge or self-pity. It's honesty. Brutal, uncomfortable honesty about why you stayed. Why you chose someone unavailable when part of you knew you could never truly have her. Maybe because the pain felt familiar. Maybe because somewhere in your past, love was always tied to struggle, to uncertainty, to waiting. Maybe you confused anxiety with passion because you never learned the difference. That's the real war, not between you and her, but between you and yourself. Between the part of you that craves chaos and the part that craves peace. Between the boy who still wants to be chosen and the man who must learn to choose himself. Because until you face that, you'll keep finding her in different faces. Not her exactly, but the same emotional pattern, the same distance, the same unavailability, the same ache that convinces you this must be special because it hurts so much. And one day you'll realize that you were never addicted to her. You were addicted to the pain. Because pain makes you feel alive when you've forgotten how to live without it. You mistook the burn for warmth. But warmth comes from connection. Burn comes from destruction. And you've spent too long confusing the two. The real work begins when you decide to detox. That means cutting all contact, deleting the number, blocking the profiles, burning every bridge that leads back to her. You'll tell yourself you can stay friends. You can't. You'll tell yourself closure is necessary. It isn't. What you're seeking isn't closure. It's another fix. Another excuse to see her, to hear her voice, to feel something that almost feels like love. But love doesn't hide. It doesn't demand secrecy to survive. It doesn't require you to destroy yourself just to keep it alive. You'll go through withdrawal like an addict. Your mind will fight you. You'll wake up reaching for your phone. You'll imagine her missing you, crying for you, regretting what she lost. But she won't, because she never saw what you saw. For her, it was always temporary, a season, not a forever. You were a spark she borrowed, not a fire she meant to keep. And yet this pain can save you if you let it. Because in your lowest moment, when you finally stop chasing her ghost, you'll start to see yourself clearly again. You'll remember the man you were before the lies, before the waiting, before the secrecy. You'll remember what it feels like to be clean. And in that clarity, you'll understand that real love isn't found in stolen hours. It's found in honesty, in consistency, in the quiet peace of someone who doesn't need to hide to be with you. That kind of love won't thrill you at first. It won't make your heart race the way chaos did. It will feel almost boring compared to the drama you were used to. But stay with it. Let it grow. Because that calm is what you mistook for emptiness before. That calm is what safety feels like. If you're married yourself, you have to confront the truth you've been running from. You broke something sacred. You betrayed someone who trusted you completely. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't justify it with stories about loneliness or neglect. Own it, because you can't rebuild what you won't admit you destroyed. You can't find redemption while you're still hiding from your reflection. Tell the truth, even if it costs you everything. You owe your partner the honesty you denied them. You owe yourself the weight of accountability. It's the only way back to integrity. You can't undo what's done, but you can choose who you'll be next. The man who hides or the man who faces his wreckage and rebuilds anyway. And when you do rebuild, don't aim to go back to who you were before. That man was naive. He believed lies because he wanted to. He mistook danger for depth. Let that version of you die. In his place, build someone wiser, someone who has touched darkness and decided it's not worth the cost. Someone who knows the difference between being chosen and being used. Because that's the real lesson buried in all this pain. Love is not meant to destroy. It's not meant to be fought for in secret, not meant to leave you hollow. It's supposed to build you. It's supposed to make you feel seen without needing to hide. Anything that demands your dishonesty isn't love. It's dependency dressed in passion's clothing. She never respected you, not truly. She respected the convenience of you. You were the man who made her feel alive without requiring her to change. And she'll do it again, with someone else, in another story, with different words but the same ending. That's her loop to live in. Yours is to break free. Because she may move on, but you're the one who decides whether this becomes your curse or your awakening. You can stay trapped in bitterness, convinced that all love is deceit. Or you can use this as the fire that purifies, the pain that carves new awareness into your bones. Understand this. You weren't chosen last. You were never meant to be chosen at all. But now, you have a choice. You can keep orbiting the same story, or you can step out of it. Walk away not to prove a point, not to win, but to finally stop losing. Walk away because you've realized the only victory worth having is peace.